we'll be bringing you the men and women's World Cup slalom events from Sestriere, Italy. World Cup Championships last week in Copper Mountain, Colorado, broke the small bone in her leg. They say that she's going to be back on skis, believe it or not, by Christmas time, and they hope to have her racing by the middle of January, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that she'll be competing for the U.S. in the Olympics in Calgary. Coming up, we're going to be able to show you 2 runs of slalom, best combined time to count in the overall standings. And in that first run, racers from 5 different countries were represented in the top 5 places, and that really does spread it out. The first run leader, Fernandez Ochoa from Spain. Kind of a surprise, Steve. You don't usually see Spanish ski racers up that high.
Well, she had a brother that won the Olympic medal back in '72 in Sapporo, but you're right, Bob. She skied really well on the bottom, a little bit straight up top.
And in second place, the girl that most of us feel is going to be outstanding throughout the year, Mateja Svet from Yugoslavia. And she really looked good, didn't she?
By far the most aggressive of all the girls today. She was really round up top, quick on and off the edges.
And she was only 16/100ths of a second behind Ochoa. And in third place, somewhat of a surprise, Christa Kinshofer from West Germany. Well, it's kind of interesting because for several years now, she didn't make the German team and skied for the Netherlands, but she's now back on the German A team, 35/100ths of a second behind, and really a surprise.
Yeah, it was amazing. Not anything real special on that run, just quick on and off the edges and really let the skis go down the hill.
Okay, we'll be able to see if she's going to be able to hold up in that second run. And in fourth place, a big favorite from Austria, Roswitha Steiner, who 2 years ago won the World Cup slalom event. She's 53/100ths of a second behind, a slalom specialist.
Yeah, she is, and made up some time on the bottom. Up top, she was just a bit straight at some of the gates.
But she's a veteran. She knows how to ski under all kinds of conditions, and it's kind of tricky out here today with that real slick ice under there. And in fifth place after that first run, Vreni Schneider, who was the first Swiss, and I thought the Swiss might be a little bit higher, but, you know, they weren't so good in that first run.
Well, it's good to see that they're not going to dominate right off this year. She is very good up top. She made a couple little errors at the bottom, and without those errors, I think she would have been top 3 after the first run.
And she has to make up 82/100ths of a second, but she is a strong competitor, and she can certainly do it. For the United States, a really tough break. Eva Tward-Dokens from Reno, Nevada, fell about halfway down the course. She didn't hook a tip, but she got her arm back on a flush coming out and kind of hyperextended her knee. It looks like she really hurt that knee pretty bad. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. You know, we lost Tamara McKinney earlier this year and now with Eva possibly out for the season. We don't know. We can't speculate on that, but bad break for the U.S. right now.
And the U.S. women did not have a very strong first run. Coming up, the second run of the women's slalom here in Sestriere. Steve, it seemed to me in that first run that the women were pretty cautious.
It was set that way. This second run, I think there's going to be a little more rhythm changes, and it's going to be a little more exciting run, I believe.
You know, we talk about the Swiss all the time. The first Swiss was only in 5th place, and we have a surprise, a Spaniard, Ochoa, in 1st place. On the course, 21-year-old Manuela Ruf from Austria, second in the Europa Cup overall, which is for younger ski racers, both in 86 and 87. She's skiing pretty well. She was 15th after that first run.
Basically, on this second run, is going a little bit too straight yet, not getting enough of the turn done before the gates right now, Bob.
Well, it's a very tough course, and also with this light, it's a little flat. I think the women are having trouble seeing. Of course, that time, 24.39, that's an intermediate time. She's the first one down. Naturally, she has the fastest run to that point. Also, I mentioned that the top 15 women in that from the first run are reversed. So the person with the best run will start 15th. That's Ochoa from Spain. Through the finish line, 45.96 for Ruef from Austria.
Total Zeit.
Next racer from Austria, also 21-year-old Heidi Gapp.
Heidi Gapp, Austria. Am Start.
She's started with number 24 in the first run and finished in 14th position. She was 1.58 seconds behind the leader, Ochoa from Spain. The Austrian women, according to the coaches I talked to yesterday, are really skiing good slalom.
I mean, I think most of them are concentrating on going around the pole a lot more than some of the girls, coming from behind and getting better pressure at the end of the turn than a lot of the girls. Therefore, they're having quick runs.
Okay, we'll see how her intermediate time is as she comes down against her countrywoman, Ruef, who went before her. Oh, quite a ways behind, 46/100ths of a second. Kind of a tough break for the Austrians because their coach, Andreas Rauch, who used to be one of the U.S. coaches, was severely hurt in an automobile accident. 2 people were killed in the other automobile, and he was in the hospital, and many felt that he wouldn't be ready for the season, but he's here and coaching the Austrians again. We're glad to see him. And so she is in second place for the moment. Only 2 races have come down. Keep in mind, once again, the order is reversed for the top 15 from that first run. Katja Lišák from Yugoslavia. The Yugoslavians have an outstanding program. Most of them come from the city of Ljubljana. It's like, well, it's kind of like the whole U.S. ski team came from Boston, Steve.
It is. A lot of them come from there, to, I guess, near Kranjska Gora, and they just get a lot of skiing in there.
Very tight-knit group. Outstanding program.
She was outstanding the first run. The second run here, once again, coming from behind so well, getting quick pressure and getting off the ski really quick. She's going to have a good run here, Bob.
Okay, we'll see how about her intermediate time coming up here. That's the time to beat on the left, and a pretty good 44 hundredths of a second behind. Shows you what kind of a run Ruoff had on that top part of the course.
That really surprised me. I thought she was going to be a lot quicker than that, Bob. She's definitely getting off the edge better, but evidently just a little bit too good up there.
Lišák is skiing very well, though, down here on the bottom part. It looks.
Well, once again, got to just concentrate on going down the hill. That's a big thing in slalom.
And she is in second place for the moment. Ruoff from Austria is in first place. I think that for the first run of the season, the first race of the season, she's probably pretty happy to put together 2 runs. Coming up now, Dorota Magore. Her name before she was married, Talaka. She was from Poland along with her twin sister. And then they married French brothers, moved to France, and now they're skiing for France. So it was Poland's loss is France's gain because she's an outstanding ski racer.
Yes, she is. Her and her twin sister have done really well in slalom.
But not in that particular. About 5 gates out of the starting gate, just hooked a gate. Looked like a little lack of concentration.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's happening a lot of. Everybody's really targeting at the gates with the upper body, trying to go straight at it, and she just happened to get in with her a little bit too close and hooked the tip.
You can see her coming down right now, getting ready to, well, she just didn't quite, looks like she maybe was thinking ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Slalom is in progress, and in the starting gate, Ada Ladstetter from Austria, only 11th after the first run. As a matter of fact, Ladstetter almost didn't make it here because 2 years ago, well, she was considered a great talent, but the Austrian coach, Andreas Rauch, got fed up with her falling all the time. He sent her to the development squad, and then she came back again, kept falling. He said, look, you got one more chance in the Austrian championships. And what did she do there? Well, she won. And here she is, and she's a good ski racer.
Yeah, up top here, she's just going real round right now, really solid on her skis.
She only has 4th place in the intermediate time with 10 other women to come, 0.8 of a second behind. That's an eternity in ski racing.
Yes, it is, Bob. She's going to have to really pick it up if she wants to do better than that.
And Ladstetter doesn't look like she's really attacking all that much, coming down here towards the finish line. 3rd place for the moment, but as we've said, 10 more women to come. Reverse order of the top 15. The top ones are coming up. I think Kerbalova from Czechoslovakia ready to take her shot down the mountain in the second run. Steve, this is a miserable day. It's kind of raw and cold and snowy. The visibility is terrible. Now, as a racer, did you like racing in this type of condition?
You can turn that positive for yourself. Basically, you have to figure that nobody else wants to be out there, and if you can say, well, that gives me the edge on them because I want to be out there, that can help you out. So you have to turn that negative positive for yourself.
Well, it's a great way of thinking, and obviously those results worked very well for you and Phil. But it isn't very good out here. I mean, you don't really have a good feel for the snow, do you?
No, it's hard. The visibility's flat. You can't see the little bumps and stuff. And you have a tendency to ski stiff. You don't absorb things as well as you should.
Okay, Kerbalova, 59 hundredths of a second behind, 10th after the first run. And she's going to really have to fire here at the bottom. Look at her hold that right hand up. It's almost like she has it paralyzed. Why isn't she planting that hand?
I don't know. People have a tendency to get one-sided at times, and she needs to, kind of feel herself doing the same thing from side to side, both sides.
And it through the finish line, she wasn't that bad on the bottom part. 0.3 of a second behind. Next racer coming up, 23-year-old Karen Buder from Austria. She won the Europe Cup for youngsters in 1985. She's a slalom specialist. She looks a little bit unbalanced, like she's always going to go out of the course. She's tall for a slalom skier. She always looks like she's going to fall down, doesn't she, Steve?
Yeah, she does. She has a tendency to hang to the tail of the skis a lot, and when you get on a steeper hill, that can really make it look make the person look scary as far as getting around the gates as well as they'd like.
Well, she looks unbalanced, but as long as she keeps those skis going down the hill, it's all right. But look how she kind of sits back all the time.
Yeah, she does. The tips don't really work as much as they could. You know, if she'd get a little bit more centered on the skis, the tips would do a little more work in the turn.
Well, she's better on flatter courses. The top part is particularly steep, and it showed in her timing there, intermediate time, 83 hundredths of a second behind. She hooks a lot of tips.
That's a lot of times that's from sitting back there a little bit. You let the skis go in quicker than they should instead of coming from behind.
Here through the finish line, fourth position, 65 hundredths of a second behind. And Rolf from Austria, Switzerland, 24-year-old, very quiet, easygoing person, very likable, slalom specialist. Did not have a very strong year last year.
She's off and going. Right now, you know, she seems to be going at the gates quite well this run. She was a little bit too straight the first run. Hopefully she'll straighten that out the second run.
Okay, she was 1.16 seconds behind after that first run. Looks like she's attacking pretty good right here, though.
Well, that's, I think, the biggest thing on this second course. They just have to be a little more aggressive. The gates are just a bit closer together, and you have to concentrate on going to the next gate, down
we'll
the hill.
With that intermediate time, only in fifth position, so she is not that good. A lot of times the women in the very first race of the year want to have two standing runs, so I think they're backing off a little bit. Doesn't look like they're skiing that aggressive.
It really does. I mean, she is definitely coming from behind this run and not really trying to, say, go at the poles near as much as she did the first run, and it could be costing her.
Okay, she was 8th after that first run, down through the finish line, 4th for the moment. That's not a very good run for her. Last year's World Cup Slalom champion was Corinne Schmidhauser from Switzerland. She had a pretty good first run, not exactly where she wanted to be. I talked to her about it. Tell us a little bit about the hill.
The hill is quite steep, I think, and it's hard. It's very hard because I think there was the new snow they took away all, and so the hard the thing is who's down stayed, and it was very hard.
It looked like in the first run you were going to be a little careful. Now, will you go faster in the second run?
Sure. I think first race in this season, you are a little bit, you look around, you see a lot of people you haven't seen in a long time, and I think now we have found the rhythms, and I think the second one we will try to do better.
Good luck to you. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
And now, Corinne Schmidhauser, outstanding slalom ski racer from Switzerland. Grew up in Bern, Switzerland, a city girl. Outstanding student, too. Studying to be go to medical school. 1987, last year, she was the World Cup slalom winner. Finished just ahead of Tamara McKinney of the United States.
Really, she's a big girl. She stands on the ski really well, up over the top of them. Doesn't get to the tail or the back very often, more or less on the front or the ball of the foot at all times, and you have to do that on an icy slope.
Okay, we'll see on her intermediate time, second place, and of course she had a lead after that first run, so she could move into the first place. Notice how she uses her left hand to knock the poles out of the way. Always uses that left hand to knock them out.
Yeah, it does. Usually when if somebody does that, they'll have a tendency to make better turns to one side than they do the other. And here, I think that's the case with her. She has a tendency to slide her turns just a little bit more when she's turning right than to the left.
Okay, through the finish line, Corinne Schmidhauser from Switzerland has taken over the lead for the moment. Schmidhauser was 7th after that first run. There were 6 more races to come. But Schmidhauser has proven, well, that the Swiss aren't out of it yet.
No, they're still in there.
Next racer, Ulrike Meyer from Austria, 20-year-old. The Austrians have a lot of good young slalom skiers, and they have outstanding training, we're told, on their glaciers, running gate after gate after gate over and over and over again, and skiing particularly well, firing off to get ready for a new season. This will tell how that training went, too. She was 6th after the first run.
She's a little bit too much up and down, I think, on this steep of a hill. It needs to settle down just a little bit more and not, gets quite as much up and down, so harsh on the ski.
She does look like she's jumping. Of course, when you do jump, you hit hard on those edges when you come down. We'll see how her intermediate time. Not very good. 7th only. 8/10 of a second out. Meyer was 86 hundredths behind the leader, Ochoa, who is yet to come.
Yeah, she's staying really square over the skis, though. I mean, you know, with a little more work on just trying to settle down and let the skis do a little more, not use the upper body quite as much, and let this quiet down. I think she can improve this year.
Okay, here through the finish line and only in 7th place. 1.11 seconds out.
That's got to be distracting, you know, to drop back that many places after your second run.
Getting ready to leave the start, Vreni Schneider from Switzerland. Who's an outstanding ski racer. She was in 5th place after that first run, 82 hundredths of a second behind.
But she could be strong, Bob.
Very popular member of the Swiss team. She had to leave skiing because of the death of her mother a few years ago and took the year off. Very close-knit family. Helped work on the farm with her brothers and her father. Now she's back.
And she was good up there. I think she let the skis run by far faster than anybody there for about a 5 or 6 gate section, and then made the transition very well.
And look at, by 0.5 of a second, the best midway time so far. Overtaking that, turned in by young Ruoff earlier in the run. Look at her come down. This is a very aggressive ski racer. This is one thing about this Swiss girl. She will really fire.
Yeah, if she just continues like this, I think she's going to be untouchable, I think, this run.
Okay, Schmidhauser's in 1st place, and now through the finish line by 98 hundredths of a second. A tremendous run by Vreni Schneider. So now we have the Swiss 1 and 2. Slalom World Cup winner in 1986. Won it in the last race of the season in Waterville Valley, New Hampshire. Very friendly, free spirit, but she's had a lot of injuries. Looks like she's skiing well, though. Didn't have that great a year last year for her. However, in the World Cup, she was only 6th in slalom.
See, our big thing here is she just has to let the ski go a little more. She isn't taking the chances she needs to. Vreni Schneider was unbelievable this last run doing that. Here, she just needs to let the skis go down the hill more and take more chances.
Well, she's only 7th as far as her midway is concerned. She was cautious, as you've said, up in the top part, Steve. She'll really have to fire down here. But sometimes she skis a little bit differently. She's more a smoother type skier.
Well, she is. And down here, I think just watching her, she has a tendency to, I think, probably ski better on the flatter hills. This morning, the first run, she made up a lot of time on the bottom. We'll see if she can do it again.
Okay, she was 4th after the first run. She is 2nd at the moment, behind Vreni Schneider of Switzerland. 2nd place now belongs to Roswitha Steiner, and Corinne Schmidhauser from Switzerland is in 3rd.
Once again, she made up time on the bottom.
Next racer, Krista Kinshofer. Krista Kinshofer. Well, what could you say about her? She won a silver medal in the giant slalom way back in 1980 in Lake Placid. She was 26 years of age, but then she fell apart, and she no longer made the German team. So in order to find a country and still be able to race, she raced for the Netherlands. All of a sudden, a lot of us saw us on the list this year and said she was back racing for Germany. We thought it was a misprint. But talking to the German coaches, hey, she's skiing really well, and she's made the A team again. And she's back. Not only is she back, but she was 3rd after the first run. But not a very good run on the top part.
Just a little bit too cautious. There's one section up there that the people have to take a lot more chances, and they're probably giving away 4 or 5 tenths in just about a 5-gate section. And Vreni was just outstanding there. These people have to take a lot more chance up there, Bob.
Well, she keeps her skis so much closer together than the other women.
Well, she uses a little bit more of the standard style, goes around the pole a lot more.
And she was terrific on the bottom part of the course. 2nd place for the moment, only 11 hundredths of a second. So Krista Kinshofer, what a comeback for her. Our next racer, Mateja Svet from Yugoslavia. I had a chance to talk to her after her first run. You skied very well in the first run.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised because I didn't expect it. Because we have little problems with trainings, always with weather, and so today I'm happy.
Somebody told me that you did a lot of training with the Yugoslavian men's team.
Just a few times, maybe 4 times in giant slalom.
Did you beat the men?
No, never.
Good luck in the second run.
Thanks.
Mateja Svet, 19-year-old Yugoslavian, 16 hundredths of a second behind Fernandez Ochoa. After the first run, she had the second best time. So we're getting now to the moment of truth. Mateja Svet, 3rd in the Super G in the World Championships last year, 2nd in the Giant Slalom, 3rd in the Slalom. Many people feel the next superstar in the sport of skiing.
She just is so aggressive. If she'll let the skis go and be aggressive like this the whole way down, she'll be a tough one to beat.
Boy, talking to her after that first one, she was so loose and relaxed. She was in Aspen, Colorado last summer for a couple of weeks, but she wasn't very good on the top part of the course.
No, so once again, she held on just a little bit. If she can still make it up down here, there's been a couple of people that have been really quick down here. This is good skiing down here, a little bit back there.
And when she turns to the right, it's interesting to note how she knocks the poles out of the way with her hip. And through the finish line, we'll tell now the best time. She was fabulous on the bottom part of the course, and she likes it. Mateja Svet is in first place, the Yugoslavian 19-year-old. Our leader after the first run, Blanca Fernandez Ochoa, and she seemed mighty happy after that first run. I had a chance to talk to her. You skied very well.
I am in form now.
Good training this summer?
Yes, strong, very good. With the ski team, French ski team.
Oh, you trained with the French?
Yes.
Well, good luck in the second run.
Thank you.
So we have Svet in first place, Schneider in second place from Austria, Kinshofer from West Germany is third, and the one person at the top of the mountain, it's her race to win or lose, Fernandez Ochoa from Spain. She had the fastest first run, and now she's on the course for the second run.
Her big thing is just not to get too nervous between runs here. Just ski this run like she did her first one, and she'll be in the hunt. Aggressive skiing.
She was fifth in the slalom at the World Championships last year, also fifth in the giant slalom at the World Championships in Crans-Montana, Switzerland. Got back a little bit. She's better giant slalom than she is slalom, but she's skiing very well right here.
I think she's going to be unbeatable if she continues down now. She's not too far back at the midway. She just has to ski square down here and keep going at it like she did up there.
Okay, she beat Svet in that first run by 16 hundredths of a second, so that would mean she's 2 hundredths of a second ahead right now. If she can hold that coming through the finish line, look at her attack.
She's there.
First place, what a grunt on the bottom part of the course, 66 hundredths of a second. The first slalom race of the season. The victory belongs to the young woman from Spain, Fernandez Ochoa, Blanca Fernandez Ochoa. A great race for her.
Outstanding. I mean, she is totally happy with that. And it's good to see that we got somebody else besides Swiss on top dominating right off.
When we come back, we'll get a word with our winner, Blanca Fernandez Ochoa. Now tell me, first race of the season and being from Spain, I mean, that was terrific.
Yes, I'm in very good form.
How come you're in such good form this year, do you think? Why, did you have good training?
Yes, strong training in the summer. With the French ski team.
You skied with the French and skied on the glaciers in Europe?
Yes, yes.
Well, congratulations. It was a great season.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that Steve, the way she's skiing right now, her English is going to get a lot better because she's going to be doing a lot more interviews. What'd you think of that first race of the year?
Really, really amazing. I mean, she really came from behind on the second run, the bottom. I mean, she took away probably about 7 or 8 tenths on the last 20 gates of the course. That's just strong skiing, mental, and willpower.
Okay, we have bad news, I'm afraid, on Eva Twardokens. She's been in the hospital. The word is that she is going to be flown home and will have her knee, it looks like, operated on and probably be out more than 6 months. We don't want to speculate, of course, but that is the initial word that we have received from the hospital here in Sestriere. A tough break for Eva Twardokens and the U.S. team. As far as the U.S. team is concerned, Heidi Volker was the best finisher. Let's take a look at her run. Heidi Volker from Pittsfield, Massachusetts, started with number 46 at the first run and finished in 28th position. So she is 30 racers make the cut, so she is having an opportunity for a second run. The only U.S. racer to make the cut, so to speak, and have that second run. And here she is firing down there, Steve.
Yeah, she is, a little bit too straight at some of the gates and then not getting the pressure on as quick as she needs to. Standing on the edge just a little too long, but just some more time and, I guess, confidence, and that can change in a hurry.
Okay, she wasn't exactly too. She was kind of feeling her way down that top run. The thing I like about it, though, is she does fire. I think she's going to be an outstanding ski racer for the U.S.
Well, she just keeps going. I mean, if she makes a little mistake, you can see that she just fights on, keeps going. A lot of people have a tendency to just kind of give up or try to get the momentum back slowly instead of just blasting into it again.
Okay, here's through the finish line and 2 standing runs. And it looks like she's going to finish about 27th for the day. A few more to go in that first 30, but not bad for Heidi Volker. That's it for the first World Cup race of the season, the women's slalom. When we come back, the men's slalom event.